So let's talk about integers. All right. So first of all, I start with this picture for a second because all year I get asked, what's an integer? What's an integer? What's an integer? So again, integer is just a number, no decimals, no fractions, just anything positive, anything negative, but no decimals, no fractions. And then zero, of course. But you look at all these are types of just things that you'll see. All right. Um, so just I want to show a couple of different methods of just how to actually do integers. So the first one's going to be this idea of using tiles, or let's say like any positive number is going to be yellow, any negative number is going to be red. So if I have an example of something like 3 plus negative 8, both integers being added. So 3 is positive, so I'd have 3 yellows, and then 8 is negative, so I'd have 8 negatives. Right? So 3 yellows positive, 8 reds being negative. So what I want to see now is anytime I have a positive and a negative number, they cancel each other out. All right. So if what happens is anytime I have a positive and negative, they automatically cancel each other out. They're zero. They're inverses of each other. So they become zero. And so now my answer is going to be is what's left? And I have red ones left only. So I have -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. And so that's going to be my answer to this. So 3 plus -8 is going to be -5. Another example here is going to be, what if I have two integers that are both negative? So again, all reds. All right. So I'm going to have 3 reds for -3, and I'm going to have 8 here for -8. So when I look at this now, what I want to kind of see is compared to the other one, nothing's going to cancel out. So what I'm going to look at is nothing cancels out. So now what do I have left? Well, I have -1, -2, -3, and I keep going. So -4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So now I have all these -11s, and that's going to be my answer here. So that's one way to look at it, is this kind of manipulative. And we'll talk in class sometime about like what happens if they're big numbers, because one of the first things parents ask is they say, well, this method's not going to work. What if it's like 375 plus -852? And we'll talk about that. So I want to kind of use this as a starting way, but you're not going to be able to use all these things forever. We want to kind of get away from them eventually. But I want this is a way to get you to start thinking. All right. So another way to look at this is going to be just a number line. Same idea that I want to talk about later on. You're not going to use a number line forever. Like, if I go back again, 385 plus -750. I don't want to sit there and use a number line. But we're going to start with this basic here to get our ideas thinking of why is our answer what our answer is. So here's what we start with. 3 plus -8. So we first want to look at the fact that our starting number there is going to be 3. So we're going to start at 3. And then we're going to say we're adding -8. So when I look at -8, that means I'm going to move my starting place -8 spaces, or that also means 8 spaces to the left. So now I'm going to move those spaces 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So now what I'm there is, that's going to be my new answer. And since that's my new answer, that's what my answer is going to be. So -5 is going to be my answer. When I take 3 plus -8, it's going to be -5. All right. We'll go back to our example used before also. What about -3 plus -8? Same idea. That first number is going to be our starting place. So we start at -3. And now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to move -8 spaces, or 8 spaces to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And notice we end up at -11, and that's going to be our answer. So again, same answers we had from the tiles, just a different way of kind of seeing it. And some of you may think, I like the number line. Some people say, I like the tiles, and we'll talk about different ways. But my whole goal here is, which of these kind of makes your brain work better? Which of these is the one that kind of is your way of doing it? And that's what I want you to kind of see. All right. So next one's going to be this. Let's talk about money. All right. So we look at money here for a second. So I have 3 plus -8 again. So I'm going to start with that 3. What does 3 mean? 3 means I have $3. All right. So the next part's going to be this, is I lose $8. Right. And you said, Mr. High, that's impossible. And it's not. That's where integers come from. It's not going to be impossible. So we originally have $3. Now we lost $8. And you say, well, that's possible because all of a sudden I can now owe $5 or I'm at -5. And you say, well, it's impossible to lose $8 if you only have 3. and I say, let me introduce you to America, the place of debt. All the time, like when I go buy a house, I may not have $300,000. I may say I have 30,000, and they go, "Don't worry, we'll give you the house, but you're gonna owe us some money." All right, so that's what's going to happen here. Is this idea of just owing. All right. Another way of looking at this is, what if I started with a -8 first? So I want to look at just one more option. What if I looked at the -8 and said, okay, I owe $8. So let's say I owe Johnny. We love to pick on Johnny. I owe Johnny $8. And so all of a sudden I get $3. I find $3. I come to school with $3. And I look at Johnny, and Johnny goes, "You owe me $8." And I go, "Johnny, I have 3 right here." And Johnny goes, "I'll take it." Now Johnny's going to say, "What next?" "You still owe me 5 or -5. So just a way to kind of think about money that way. All right. So we said our other example again, same idea. I owe $3 and I owe $8. So I can say I owe Johnny this twice, or I owe Johnny 3 and I owe Sammy 8. So if I owe Johnny 3 and Sammy 8, then what's going to happen is I owe a total 11 or -11. And this is one of those things that I like to pick on people for a second, because we always kind of just throw things at math and say, what's a negative and a negative? And students will go, "That's a positive always." But that doesn't make sense. Debt gives us more debt. And so that's what I want to kind of see here is, here's a place where a negative and a negative is a negative, where we see in multiplication, a negative and a negative is a positive. So we want to kind of make sure we understand the why, and not just try to memorize rules, because they just get all mixed up in our heads sometimes. Let's really focus on the why. Now, here's a video I have on here that you can watch later. We're not going to watch it right now, but it definitely just goes into a little more depth. Now, that being said, some of you don't need these options. Some of you are rules people. You are someone who just knows the rules. Mr. Hyde, when it's a positive and a negative, I subtract and take the sign of the larger number. That's fine. Some of you say when it's the same signs, you add and keep the sign. That's perfect. And that's what that video kind of goes into a little bit. So don't think that you have to know one of these methods. If you're good with rules, that's good. All right, go with the rules. I'm a rules person. I know other people are picture people. So I want you to kind of see, when we look at this, is what is your method? Which of these fits better with your brain and how you think? You don't have to know them all. It's more of which one of these makes most sense to you, and how can we use that to make you think through the problem and not just know the answer. All right, so figure out which one you like, and let's see how we can do.